Good morning. Now we will see dynamic programming. So it is an algorithm. It is just like a greedy method algorithm. It is slightly different. How it is different from greedy algorithm, we'll see now. So in greedy method, okay, what we used to do is we used to have predefined strategy. Okay, for example, for minimum cost spanning tree, always we selected a minimum cost at each stage. At each stage, the strategy was same to get a minimum cost, and hence at the end the result would be obviously the minimum cost. Yes, for example, in shortest path algorithm, you always used to take shortest path at each stage, so hence at end the result would be the shortest path only. Okay, so it's just like in each day, okay, for each meal, breakfast, lunch and dinner, if you spend the minimum, hence the overall cost of your day will be minimum only. That is greedy method, so it is predefined. Okay, and note that both are optimization problem only. Okay, both are optimization. What is optimization problem? Either the solution you are finding it to find the minimum cost, or the minimum, the result should be minimum or maximum. Okay, for example, cost should be minimum and efficiency must be maximum, or profit must be maximum. So both comes under optimization problem only. But how dynamic is different from greedy is, see, the name dynamic itself is telling that, okay, anything can happen. Dynamic means what? It is instantaneous, it is spontaneous. So at each stage, okay, at each stage it will take different decision. The decision is different at each stage. But in greedy method it is having a predefined. So here it is predefined solution, but here it is not like that, it is dynamic. So here what is done is, okay, we find all possible solution and then select the best approach. In greedy method it was not like that. We had some predefined strategy and we simply went on based on our needs. Okay, but here we are finding all the possible solutions and then we are finding the best solution of it, out of it. So it is little more time consuming. Okay, and formula here used, okay, formula here used are recursive. See, it is, the program is not recursive, the formulas used here are recursive. Just like iteration, in iteration what happens, the formulas are such that every time they call their own formulas. Okay, we'll see with an example. Okay, and it follows the principle of, okay, it follows the principle of optimality. Optimality, that is, what is optimality means, the problem can be solved by sequence of decisions to get the optimal solution. Okay, so there are some sequence of decisions, you make changes in your decisions at every stage to get an optimal solution. That is, it follows the principle of optimality. Whereas in greedy method, every stage you have a fixed solution. That is, minimum means minimum, shortest path means shortest. Okay, so here at every stage the decision is taken. So now let us see how dynamic programming adopts tabulation and memoization. See, these are the two concepts, okay, tabulation and memoization, and we'll understand it using a problem, okay, called Fibonacci. So Fibonacci series, we know how it is. It starts from 0 and 1. Okay, Fibonacci series means it adds previous two elements. So what is the two elements here? 0 and 1. So add it. If you add 0 and 1, what you'll get? You'll get 1. Now again add previous two elements. What are the previous two elements? 1 and 1. You get 2. Add again previous two elements. What are the previous two elements? 1 and 2. If you add it, you'll get 3. Then 2 and 3 is 5. 3 and 5 is 8. 5 and 3 is 5 and 8 is 13, and so on. So this is the 0th element, this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Now suppose if I want fifth element, okay, I should get this. If I want sixth element, I should get this answer. So I should write a function for that. So the function for finding any nth element is, see, first two elements are fixed, 0 and 1. So it will be 0 for n equal to 0, and it will be 1 if n equal to 1. And what is that formula we have applied here to get for n greater than, for n greater than 1? What we have for n greater than 1? For n greater than 1 means this. To get this, what we have adopted? Yes, suppose this is n, f of n minus 2 is 0 plus f of n minus 1. Yes, f of n minus 2 is what? 0 plus f of n minus 1 is what? 1. So 1 plus 1 is 1. Sorry, 0 plus 1 is 1. Now if you want 5, what is f of n minus 2? Is 3. F of n minus 1 is 4. So f of 3 plus f of 4 is what? 2 plus 3 is 5. So what is the formula I have to write it here? F of n minus 2 plus f of n minus 1 if n is greater than 1. So this thing we have to adopt. Fine. So now we have to write a function for it. So let me write it. If int fib of int n, okay, so fib of 5, for example, n is 5, so fib of 5, I want this element. So how to get it? We will have to check whether it is n is less than or equal to 1. If it is that, if it is 0 or 1, if n is less than or equal to 1 means what? Either 0 or 1. So simply return that value, return n, and then else return. Just now we have seen what is the formula used, n minus 2 plus fib of n minus 1 over, yes or no? If it is n less than or equal to 1, it means return whatever n is there. N is 0, it will return 0. N is 1, it will return 1. If n is, if this condition is not true, then it goes to this next instruction. So here, what is fib of n minus 2? For n, 5 minus 2 is 3, so it takes 2, and 5 minus 1 is 4, so 2 plus 3 is 5. We get this. So since it is recursive, yes, once this is called, it is calling its own function. Yes, fib of 5 minus 3 is nothing, 5 minus 2 is nothing but 3. So fib of 3 is again is called, and again this is called. So a recursive function is always traced by a tree. So fib of 5 is what I will take it here, correct? For an example, n equal to 5, I have taken some value. You can take any value, okay? So fib of 5, you enter here. 5 is less than or equal to 1? No, it is not less. 5 is greater than 1. So this is not true. So if it is not true, it will not return this. So it will come here. Now 5 minus 2 is 3. So it calls fib of 3, and it also calls fib of 4, because this is also called. But which one is first executed? This one. This is called first. So that is fib of n minus 2, which is 3. So this is called first. Again 3 is this. 3 is less than or equal to 1. No, it is greater. So this is not executed. It goes to next line. Again fib of 3 minus 2 is 1. So fib of 1, and it is fib of 2. Yes. Again what it does? Fib of 1. Once fib of 1 is called, this is true. So true means it gives the result 1. Fib of 2, it calls fib of 0 and fib of 1. So what is fib of 0? 0. Fib of 1 is 1. Now 0 plus 1 is added and is returned to here 1. So 1 plus this 1 plus this 1 is added, and here it is given to 2. So fib of 3, you can find here the answer is 2. Fib of 3 is 2. Yes, for 3 you have got 2. So how did we go here? Fib, we started from here, it went like this, again it came like this, it went like this. So it is from the top to the bottom it has gone. So we call it as memoization. Memoization it means it uses top to down approach, because in tabulation it is the other way, bottom up approach. Here it is top down approach. Fine. Now we were here, correct? So once this is executed, the next call is this. Yes, fib of 4. So fib of 4, again 4 minus 2 is fib of 2, and this is fib of 1. Sorry, 3. Yes. Yes, sir. This n minus 2 and 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. So here left one is called as the control. This is first executed. So fib of 2, it calls fib of 0, fib of 1. Okay, it is 0, it is 1. So added, it gives 2 here. So the control comes here. It calls fib of 1 and fib of 2. Fib of 1 is 1. Here it is fib of 0 and fib of 1. So this is 0, this is 1. So 1 plus 0 plus 1 is added. Here it gives 1. So this 1 plus 1 is added. Here it gives 2. So you can see fib of 3 is again 2. So 2 plus 2, it is, what is fib of 2? Fib of 2 is 1. So 2 plus 1, here it is 3. So you can see fib of 4 is 3. So you know how to trace. We already have seen recursion, how to trace it. So we have traced it, and there is one problem with this. Okay, I'll just mark. Okay, there is one problem with this. What is that? So you can see here fib of 1 is called once here, twice here, thrice here, okay, 4 times, 5 times. So fib of 1 is called 5 times. The same function is called again and again, which is time consuming. Not only one function is called again and again. You can say fib of 2 is also called more than 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And fib of 0 also. Okay. So many functions are called many times. So there is no point in doing the things again and again the same thing. So it is simply a time consuming. And so okay, you can see how many calls are there for n equal to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is 15. So total 15 calls are there. Okay, how many calls it is taking? 15. So we have somehow can reduce this. So how to reduce it, we'll see. So you have to declare a global array, okay, of size 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and okay, global array of, and you have to initialize all with -1. There is a method to reduce this number of calls. Okay, and we know that fib of 0, okay, fib of 0 is already defined here. Okay, we know it. Fib of 0 is, this is 0 and this is 1. Okay, these two we know, so we have added it there. Now here first we came it like this. Yes, this was obtained. Again after this we went here, this 2 was done and this result was obtained. Okay, once fib1 was called and known, and again once fib1 is called, we will not go here and calculate because fib1 is already known, so this we do not call it. Okay, and fib2, once it is known, what is fib2? Fib of 2 is 1, so we'll delete this and we'll mark it as 1. And once we know, we have calculated fib of 3, which is fib of 3 is what? 2. Okay, and we have stored that value here. Yes, now we go here. Okay, we don't know fib of 4, the function is called. Fib of 2, yes, it is already known, so once it is known, this function is not called. So if this function is not called, obviously these two are not called, they are never called, because if the main function is not called, the sub function is never called at all. Correct? If this is not called, there is no, because this line is within this loop. So obviously if fib of 2 is not called, because we already know the answer. Yes, fib of 2 is checked here. So every time this can be implemented by giving a checking condition. Okay, you check this. If that answer is not known, then only enter. If the answer is known, do not enter. So by doing that, these two are avoided. Okay, fib of 3 is already known. If it is already known, you do not execute this, so there is no question of these functions being executed. Yes, so you get simply what is fib of 3, you know it is 2. What is fib of 1? 1. So 1 plus 2, you simply give 3. So once you know this fib of 4, you simply put the value there, then 2 plus 3, you give the answer as 5. So once it is stored, so all the elements, earlier you had made it as -1, now you have filled it with the answers. Okay, so that's how you reduce the number of calls. Now how many number of calls you are doing, let us see. So you have called this as once, this one, you call this first time, you call this also first time, and this also first time. Okay, yes, and the next you call this, and rest of the things you never call at all. So how many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now the calls, you are calling it only 6 times, so more than, okay, 50% you have saved it, 60% almost you have saved the time. But there is a still more easier approach, which we call it as iterative or tabulation method. We'll use that, we'll understand that. So memoization is using top down approach, okay, and it is calling the function again and again. So we will not use that, we will use iterative method. It is also called as tabulation. So here what we do is we take again a global variable 0 1 2 3 4 5, okay, and we go on putting the result. So here int fib, I'll write the function here, okay. So f of 0 directly I am writing answer 0 and answer 1. Then for I equal to, okay, we'll define it. Int I equal to 2. So initially I is starting from 2 and I less than or equal to n, okay, and I plus plus, okay. So here in that case f of I, okay, f of I is equal to, we are using the same formula, we are simply putting this. Suppose I is 2, so f of 2 minus 2 is 0, so f of 0 is 0 plus f of this is 1, correct. 2 minus 1 is 1, so 1, so 0 plus 1 is 1, so you simply add 1 here, okay, you simply add 1 here, okay, or then return f of n, whatever n is asked you simply return it, or correct. So here it is doing iteration, correct, iteration for any n value, okay, for any n value, yes, it is doing this. You give any n value, it will fill that, yes. So if n is 3, okay, 3, I minus 3 minus 2 is 1 plus, so what is happening here is I is changing from 2 to n. So first you will get f of 2, then it will, next for loop is done, then I has increased, so f of 3, for f of 3 it finds the answer and it will put it here, yes. Then it becomes f of, you know for loop how it works. Then next time I has become, yes, 4. If I has become 4, then 4 f of 2 plus f of 3, f of 2 and f of 3 is known, so add them and put it here. Next time 5, f of 3 and f of 4 is known, add them and put it here. So that's how you get this. So this is what it is doing, it is bottom up approach. Bottom up approach means, I'm not a bit comfortable to write it here, so my writing is not good, please bear it. So bottom up approach means you are filling the first lowest elements. So you are going in this direction, lowest to highest. So that is what is called as bottom up approach. You have filled first this, then f of 2, then f of 3, then f of 4, and then f of 5. So if you had taken n equal to 8, then you would have got from 0 to 8. Okay, so that's it. Now we will go to some examples of dynamic programming.